Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for tuning in. If you're watching in another country, thank you so very much. And this is really important. If you're up late at night in the US, thank you for tuning in. If you are watching in another country, I appreciate your support greatly. When President Trump declares a national emergency, because I don't believe he's going to get anything from Democrats. I think he's very likely, almost certainly, preparing for a national emergency. He can declare a national emergency. He doesn't need congressional support. However, Congress can block President Trump if Republicans in the Senate block him. Now, if Republicans in the Senate block him, those Republicans are done in terms of their political future in the Republican Party. Those Republicans are dumb. They're done. Ladies and gentlemen, also really quickly, before I continue, I got to show you my latest HA Second Amendment segment. You will love it. It is with a very, well, if you're a gamer, if you like games, if you enjoy video games, it's with a machine gun, an M249. And it's literally the best segment that I've ever had on HA Second Amendment. You got to check this out. And this is the beginning of some really, really, really cool segments. So thank you, Eric H526, right there. Thank you. Roadkill Raker, thank you. So it's right there. And if you are into gaming, if you play Fortnite, if you play all those other types of games, check it out. And if you're on social media, because I'm not on social media, share this segment now for people who suffer from insomnia in the US. And then if you are in South Korea, if you are in London, Scotland, Ireland, India, Pakistan, Nigeria, thank you just so very much. Nepal, thank you for watching. So thank you, people around the world, thank you for watching. Washington braces for Trump to weigh in on shutdown deal. So if he doesn't get his wall, he's not going to. He's not going to budge. Democrats are not going to budge. It's not just Mexico that isn't paying for the wall. Congress isn't either, apparently. But President Trump isn't ready to break it to his supporters just yet. So President Trump at a boisterous campaign rally in El Paso, Texas on Monday night. The drama provided an eloquent snapshot of the political forces over. Okay, so, and then you have Beto O'Rourke trying to counter Trump, which is hilarious because Beto O'Rourke. My new name is Beto O'Rourke. My new name is, Rico Sanders. If it worked for Beto, it'll work for me. This guy, Beto O'Rourke, is a real winner. He's awesome. He's great. He had a DUI arrest. He's so awesome. He's super skinny and svelte and very youthful. He's everything you want in a president. And he's a hypocrite. Oil, gas, lobbyist. Beto O'Rourke. Or, as he's commonly known, Robert Francis O'Rourke. Beto got close to $500,000 from individuals in oil and gas. Well, there you go. There you go. And then it says, should we care? Is this, hold on. What, this is environment. Hold on. Sludge. I don't know. I don't know this publication, but this is interesting. Then they went after David Sirota. Oh my God. They went after David Sirota for actually telling the truth about Beto O'Rourke. All you have to do is look at open secrets. So it's really not difficult. He has more oil and gas money than anyone else aside from Ted Cruz. Beto O'Rourke might have an oil money problem. Yeah, he does. Beto O'Rourke broke promise on accepting large oil donations. Yeah, he did. But aside from that, ladies and gentlemen, aside from that, you have a situation where Beto O'Rourke is trying to counter Trump. He's trying to say, "Oh, well, a wall is immoral. It's completely immoral. It hurts people." And it's not the whole purpose. The whole purpose of Trump's wall is not. There's zero, like, there's nothing nefarious about a wall that prevents the trafficking of everything from illegal narcotics, human, everything. There's nothing insidious about a wall. Guess what? Democrats voted for a fence, and Democrats under President Obama, utilizing ICE, deported 2.5 million human beings. By the way, to my super chat, thank you so very much. By the way, if you want to see more Fortnite guns in real life segments, my Patreon is below. If you fund it, they will come in terms of the amazing firearm segments on HA Second Amendment. So, I mean, a mag dump of 100 rounds in an M249, it was pretty awesome, I have to say, in a safe and responsible way. I mean, it was pretty awesome. So, but anyway, this is how President Trump, this is how the only way Democrats can stop Trump. This is the only way. The only way Democrats can stop Trump is if Republicans in the Senate vote alongside Democrats to literally stop a Republican a goal that Republicans have had for a long time. Conservative Republicans have talked about it. Even, you've had conservative Republicans talking about this. It's not just a Trump. Like, Trump is trying to implement this because this is what Republicans have wanted for a long time. This is what Republicans have wanted for a very long time. So, the difference between establishment Republicans, and here McCain visits Mexico, says more border walls needed. So this is, a long time ago when he complained about a fence. So, I mean, this is really interesting. You look at even John McCain. Even John McCain was talking about this. Only Trump was actually trying to do. McCain winds up land trip in Mexico. Okay, so let's see this here. This is in 2008. Oh, Lord. Are you kidding me? This is in 2008. I want to see this. When you look at, he wanted to complete the fence, which was a wall facing a toughest re-election, but demanded the government in May to complete the fence, which he referred to as a wall. Secure Fence Act of 2006. What happened when Obama sent troops to border? Okay, so if it's President Obama or President Bush, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. But if it's Trump, oh my God. So the only way, let me read this to you, ladies and gentlemen. The only way, Lily, thank you. The only way for Trump, like if he declares a national emergency, there's really nothing that I can't believe there's a wall. I need a wall to separate me from Hillary. I would love to have a wall to separate myself from that human being called my wife. My wife, fact check, can Trump use emergency powers to build a wall? What say does Congress have? In the mid-70s, Congress passed a law designed to provide some check on the president's power while also preserving flexibility to act in an emergency. The National Emergencies Act requires the president to notify Congress when an emergency is declared and to list the powers that are being invoked. The law requires the administration to provide regular updates to Congress and allows lawmakers to terminate an emergency if both the House and Senate vote to do so. If both the House and Senate, ladies and gentlemen, if both the House and Senate, which means you would need 4 turncoats, about 3 or 4 turncoats in the Senate. Lindsey Graham tells Trump caving on wall could end your presidency. Well, there you go. I mean, right now, President Trump has no choice. He has no choice. He cannot cave. I mean, when you have Ann Coulter clowning you all the time, I get it. I can kind of see where Ann Coulter has a national voice. She has a national voice, so I get it. I'm not upset with Ann Coulter. People say, "Oh, Ann Coulter, what are you doing?" I'm not. I get what she's doing. I get it. I get it. I don't think that she's just trying to, harm Trump the way that every other Republican is trying to do. I think that what she's saying is, let me make this a national issue because I have a national voice. So she has a national voice. And she's kind of, lighting a flame under the behind of President Trump, saying, look, if you don't do this, and it doesn't really, like all this government shutdown stuff, look, the Democrats do not want a wall. They want to deport 2.5 million immigrants. They're okay with that. They want to utilize ICE. They want to commit, certain horrible things that took place during Obama's tenure that I can't even, I could get into it a little bit via the live streams I have before, but they're horrible. Now, granted, what took place under Trump, I'm not down with. That was horrendous. The separation of families, I'm against that 100%. Okay? I'm against that 100%. But Democrats only bring that up for political expediency, for political utility. They should have focused on that. And more on that, reuniting the children with their families than Trump Russia. That's all they cared about. And by the way, where is single payer? If it worked, if it's not feasible, but if it was feasible, if it were feasible, it would be a great thing, but it's not feasible. But Democrats know that, and that's why they have a resolution with a ridiculous, nonsensical, Nocturne 1, hello, top of the morning, nonsensical bill. And they keep saying, I can't stand this, and it's your favorite congressperson in the Democratic Party. They keep saying this. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. They keep saying this. I can't stand it. You just have to believe. You just have to believe. And, this is going to motivate everyone. It's going to motivate. We have to reach for the stars. It's like, well, you need metals, certain precious metals, to power electric vehicles, the electric batteries in vehicles. We don't have the technology to power these electric batteries without um, cobalt, lithium, and nickel. In the Congo right now, people are losing their lives. Young people, extremely young, are losing their lives mining cobalt. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, there are some cobalt mines that are radioactive. Mining lithium takes a great deal of water, pollutes water. Lithium, water supply, lost. Okay. Electric car. So the rise of electric car could leave us with a big battery waste problem. But the indigenous communities in places, and the Democrats kept saying, "Oh, indigenous communities." Okay. Pollution from mining lithium, the spiraling environmental cost, pollution caused by building a hybrid car, the spiraling environmental cost of our lithium addiction. Producing batteries for green technology harms the environment. So, the spiraling environmental cost. Let's look at this. This is from Wired. They had plucked them from water. Okay, so cow and yak carcasses floating downstream from drinking contaminated water. In South America, the biggest problem is water. The continent's lithium triangle, which covers parts of Argentina, Bolivia, and Chile, holds more than half the world's supply of the metal beneath its otherworldly flats. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a big problem. Big problem. It's also one of the driest places on Earth. It uses a lot of water, approximately 500,000 gallons per ton of lithium. They're drying up lakes and they're polluting water in South America. But don't tell the Democrats that, because they're morally superior to you and me. Don't tell them that. Okay? We have no right to tell them that at all. Okay? Because it's an existential. They use the word existential. If you hear that, it's an existential. What? You mean anything's allowed? It's an existential issue. Ooh. An existential issue. Well, then, pollution in Latin America, in the Congo, in China, that's okay. That's okay. Just don't tell anybody else, Don't tell the rest of the world that your wonderful Green New Deal relies on indigenous people to mine. Indigenous peoples are left poor as the tech world takes lithium from under their feet. So they take everything away from us. Indigenous resident who leads up to so these lands are ancestral. We live by this, by the field, by our cattle. This way of life is in danger. But it's okay because they use the word indigenous about 30 times in their resolution, so everything's fine. Everything's fine. I mean, it's really unbelievable. So let me just read you this really quickly. Oh, I did already. So what say does Congress have? Let's say, for example, ladies and gentlemen, this is the heart of the matter here. Let's say, for example, Trump declares a national emergency. The House then, under the Democrats, say we're going to vote against it. All right. The Senate votes against it. He's safe. If the Senate votes against it, the people who voted against his national emergency will own that forever. Do you understand? The people who voted against that, will own that forever. That will be very, very difficult. That'll be very difficult for them to, you won't be able to survive politically in the Republican Party ever if you're known as the deciding votes. If you're known as the deciding votes that prevented Trump from declaring a national emergency. But the courts aren't going to stop him. What does Congress say? So this law requires the administration to provide regular updates to Congress and allows lawmakers to terminate an emergency if both House and Senate vote to do so. What Trump should do is declare a national emergency and then have Democrats say it's not a national emergency. It's not a national emergency. That's what he should say. Let them own the crisis. Let them own the crisis. If they own the crisis, that's the thing. If they own the crisis, then Trump can simply say, look, you know what? I tried my best. And there's really nothing also that Ann Coulter can get on him about. I mean, honestly, what can Ann Coulter say? If he declares a national emergency, and we just had a Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals back Trump, you just had a Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals back Trump. Okay. So he won a pretty important court case. Very important. Extremely important. So there's really nothing much they can do other than try to undermine Trump and then suffer for it politically. If they do that, Trump is off the hook. That's the thing. And that's the thing. You know, if they do that, Trump is off the hook. If they don't do that, Trump wins. But I mean, this issue of a wall, I mean, I don't get it. You deport 2.5 million undocumented immigrants, and it's okay. You're okay now. You're against the wall, but you're okay with deporting well over 2 million human beings. That's okay. I don't get that. How does that work? How does that work? How on earth does that work? How on earth does that work? I mean, it's the duplicity is unbelievable. And you have Beto O'Rourke, Trump O'Rourke battle over wall at dueling El Paso rallies. Look, Beto O'Rourke had almost 2-1, almost 2-1 spending, and still lost Texas. I pray to God he's the Democratic nominee. Okay? The guy got a DUI arrest. He's not going to win the presidency with a DUI arrest. Ain't going to work. Ain't going to happen. You couldn't even beat Ted Cruz, and Ted Cruz is like not. He's not that great. He's really not that great of a candidate, Ted Cruz. Really not that great. Really not that great. at all. Actually, he's not a good candidate, I don't think, at all. But I just William Barr's coming in. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. When it happens, we'll have a whole new ball game, a new sheriff in town. All right. But the courts, and it's unlikely the courts, is unlikely Congress stops. I mean, it's possible, but it's unlikely Congress or the courts stop Trump if he declares a national emergency, because then they'd have to own all the atrocities and the heinous crimes being committed. They'd have to own that. And if, God forbid, it spirals even more out of control, then everybody, the country will look back and say, look, Trump wanted to get this done. So when Trump declares a national emergency, House and Senate Dems can veto, but only with GOP support. My new name is Rico Suave Sanders. Sergeant Pepper, hello. Yeah, this is going to be, it's been a little, not slow, but there's this sense, and I understand it. There's this sense like, oh my God, Clinton and the Democrats are never going to get, I mean, the overt criminal behavior, and they fabricate everything with Trump, and everything is possible, likely, but with Democrats, oh my God, you can't talk about, this obvious connecting of the dots, like obvious. It's like absurd. It's like obvious. Hello. It's so obvious. And they're petulant also, because it's not like their immigration policies are, deport people. It's like they're not the height of compassion, Democrats. They're not at all. Not at all. So, let's see. My God, it's going to be so glorious when Trump wins in 2020. Could you imagine the Democrats? They lost twice. They won't be able to blame Russia, which is hilarious to begin with. Can you imagine? Oh my God. The end of 2020, like November 2020, can't come soon enough. Could you imagine? They won't know what to do. They won't. That could be the official end of the Democrats as we know it, as we know them, as a political party. And the only reason they won the House, the only reason, is because people believed. I didn't think people would believe this, but they believed that, oh yeah, Medicare for all. Like, they have zero. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, her thing is this resolution that would actually lead to indigenous communities being decimated. That's what you know. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. Let's just see. Sperry, Twitter. It's a little slow, but you're going to have Rod Rosenstein leave soon. When he leaves, it's on. I mean, you're talking about a completely new ball game. William Barr is supposed to vote on William Barr in the Senate. 100 votes on William Barr nomination. Okay, so Still need to flip 4. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. Thank you, Lachlan Bird. Thank you. Before I go, ladies and gentlemen, check out HA Second Amendment. Press 1 if you've seen, well, you know what? Let's see. If you play Fortnite or Battle Royale or any of those games, Legend, Apex, I don't even know. There's like a million different games. This is an M249 full auto. Check this out. This is literally my best segment on HA Second Amendment. Thank you so very much. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Check out that segment. It is awesome. And Insta Patriot, Virginia's flipping red in 2020. That is what Styx says. HA Gunman. That's what Styx says. And Styx is awesome. Styx is awesome. Styx is awesome. That's what Styx says. I watch Styx. I watch Tim Pool all the time. I watch Kevin's Corner. I watch Jericho Green. I got to say, the M249 was safely and responsibly something else. It was something else, I got to say. I'm actually watching this right now. I'm watching myself. How much of a narcissist can I be? But you don't realize all the shell casings. You don't realize, you kind of do, but you don't realize how much you're shaking. It's crazy. It really is crazy. You got to check out. You got and share it everywhere, especially if you're a gamer or you just want to, you want to see what, the Fortnite Dave, the vote, are you talking about for William Barr? Yeah, the vote's supposed to be soon. So Joe Manchin's probably going to vote for William Barr. Joe Manchin is like on the Democrats' side, the equivalent of Jeff Flake for Republicans. Pretty awesome. Rick Mart 209, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Black Conservative Patriot is awesome. There's a lot of people. Brandon Turner is awesome. Brandon Tatum, sorry. There's a whole bunch of really, really awesome YouTubers. Anthony Brian Logan is great. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. And definitely check out my latest segment on HA Second Amendment. It is late. If you are in the US right now, it is late. You're watching overseas, tell everyone about this channel. And thank you so very much. Hit subscribe, everyone. Thank you. I will see you very soon. Thanks again, everybody.